We all woke up one morning and discovered that there was something called a cryptocurrency. No one knew that this would change how we exchange digital currencies and become a force. It's been about a decade since then, and even companies are tapping into this trend. Today, several companies own millions of dollars in Bitcoin and are not looking to stop investing in this digital asset. Despite how much the value changes from time to time, these companies are not shaken. Let's check out the top companies with the most Bitcoin. Voyager Digital. It's not surprising that this cryptocurrency broker would own its fair share of Bitcoin, especially with speculations on its possible rise in value spreading like wildfire. The company focuses on mobile apps and APIs for trading in Bitcoin. Currently, this company, which is registered on the Canadian Stock Exchange, has more than 2,500 worth of Bitcoin on their balance sheet, dated November of 2020. A few months ago, Voyager Digital announced that they had raised about $100 million in private placement of common shares that cost about $13 each. This would go into educating investors on creating wealth through cryptocurrencies through their offer of 50 digital assets with interests and no commissions. Square. It's no secret that this payment facilitator has been buying a lot of Bitcoin in the last few months, and we can see the angle that they're working with. Square has always been about giving every kind of business owner an easy way to make online payments and use their credit cards. Recently, they went all out into buying a majority share of Jay-Z's Tidal, which led the artist's bank account growing exponentially. But that was only a part of their recent business strategy. Square currently owns $400 million worth of Bitcoin, which represents about 5% of all of its assets. First, they bought $50 million worth of Bitcoin around the third quarter of 2020, and then not too long ago added another $170 million. This showed quite a lot of trust in the digital currency. Although Square owns the peer-to-peer payment platform known as Cash App that brings in a lot of revenue through investment, transfer, and merchant fees, their Bitcoin exchange has caught more attention. Bitcoin was responsible for more than $4 billion in Cash App revenue, which Square owns 8,027 Bitcoins in total. Hut 8 Mining. Hut 8 Mining is a Canadian Bitcoin mining company. Recently, this company made headlines when it became public knowledge that they owned up to 3,012 Bitcoins. Guess what that means? Hut 8 Mining has more self-mined Bitcoin in its portfolio than any other Bitcoin miner in the world. Currently, they produce as much as 6.8 coins per day and are working towards increasing this count. Investors are very interested in this company because they're getting direct exposure to Bitcoin without having to worry about learning its complexities. In fact, they don't have to worry about online wallets because Hut 8 Mining gives them a secure space to store their Bitcoin without worries. Galaxy Digital Holdings. If you thought $400 million was a lot of money to put into Bitcoin, wait until you discover that there is a company with $770 million worth of Bitcoin to their name. We're talking about Galaxy Digital Holdings. This is a financial firm that deals with trading, asset management, investment, and of course, Bitcoin. So for a company that works with blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and several digital assets, it's no surprise that they own a whopping 16,402 Bitcoins, which is about $770 million worth of investment. However, the company claims that the investments funds holds Bitcoin to help accredited investors gain exposure to Bitcoin without managing or holding it directly. The owner of the company also believes that Bitcoin could be as high as $500,000 at some point. With a market value of more than $4 billion, the founder is confident that cryptocurrencies have staying power, and they won't stop buying into Bitcoin anytime soon or at all. Tesla Motors. Here is a name that sounds pretty familiar to a lot of us. We all know that the controversial CEO of this company made a tweet that is possibly responsible for Bitcoin dropping in value a few months ago. However, Elon Musk is actually a huge supporter of this cryptocurrency. He is such a fan of Bitcoin that some criminals came up with the Elon Musk crypto scam. Lots of people lost their Bitcoin to these imposters who promised them mouth-watering offers. But anyway, here's how much Bitcoin Tesla owns. A whopping $1.5 billion worth of this digital asset. Although they ended 2020 losses less than 8% of their capital on the Bitcoin purchase, Elon is still a huge fan. Of course, there is his recent interest in Dogecoin, which went up about 35% after his tweet supporting this coin. We'll wait to see what happens, and maybe this will take over Bitcoin. Who knows? 3iQ Bitcoin Fund. It has been confirmed that this Canadian firm has about 22,590 Bitcoins, which is worth as much as $1 billion. This is quite a big deal for a company that is first public fund that made it to the Toronto Stock Exchange and listed in Canada. They became listed in April 2020, and as you can imagine, it took a lot to get to that point. Thanks to the success, Canadians were able to invest in Bitcoin easily through their regulated investment managers. Then in September of 2020, 3iQ Bitcoin Fund made it to the Gibraltar Stock Exchange. Just a month later, this company had record $100 million worth of cryptocurrency. With the surge experienced at that time, they had about 900% growth, which is just wow. Even though the price of Bitcoin went on a free fall after Elon Musk's tweet, they still hold a considerable amount of Bitcoin, with the others saying that they plan to become the biggest regulated Bitcoin fund ever. Looks like they're well on their way to achieving that. Ruffer Investment Company. Here's another company that believes so much in this cryptocurrency that they secured 45,000 of it. Ruffer Investment Company is an asset management firm that jumped on the Bitcoin train in December of 2020, and they made quite an entry. About 2.5% of their multi-strategies fund went to Bitcoin, which was worth about $870 million at the time of purchase. Today, it has multiplied so much in value that the investment is in the billion-dollar range. Even the co-manager at the company was surprised to see how well the investment appreciated. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Every other company on this list pales in comparison to Grayscale Bitcoin Trust when it comes to the amount of Bitcoin in their portfolio. With about $30 billion worth of Bitcoin in their portfolio, we could say they have the largest one at this moment. This represents about 3% of the total amount of Bitcoin in circulation, and that's just wow. Grayscale Bitcoin Trust launched in 2013, and many investors who wanted Bitcoin in their portfolio got on the train. They liked the idea of a company making the purchase for them since they were not exactly fans of buying the cryptocurrency directly. And that's how it was for many years. Grayscale held the monopoly of this industry and was the only option left for investors to access Bitcoin easily. As you can imagine, they took full advantage of this and charged their investors an annual fee of 2%. Finally, some competition came knocking from Osprey Bitcoin Trust. This was another company offering pretty much the same services, but this time with an annual fee of 0.49%. No one was surprised to see a lot of people move to the cheaper side. However, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust can boast of more than $100 million in assets. They're big supporters of Bitcoin and are looking to hold for as long as possible, even adding some more to their portfolio. Here's something even more interesting. The company is planning on launching its own Bitcoin. However, we'll just have to wait and see how successful this venture will be. And that's a wrap. This marks the end of our list of the companies that own the most Bitcoin. Do you believe in this cryptocurrency enough to think that it could be worth up to $500,000 one day? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? Well, we're always posting amazing content like this, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching.